Hello everyone, and welcome to another video of Jason Cross Reads Books, the channel that talks about differences between books and adaptations and attempts to reveal their meaning. A while ago, I shared a poll on my Instagram story asking my followers at the time to vote for which adaptation I should do my next video on, either Shadow and Bone or The Martian. And the result of that poll is The Martian. So for today's video, I'll be going over Andy Weir's novel, The Martian, directed by Ridley Scott. Before I begin, I do want to warn you that there will be spoilers ahead, just like most of my videos. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then please feel free to exit this video. Now then, I'll begin with a quick recap and review. The Martian begins on Mars in the year 2035. About halfway through their mission, the crew of Ares 3 encounter a severe dust storm and are forced to cut their mission short and evacuate. Mark Watney doesn't make it, or so the rest of the Ares 3 crew believe. Now Mark needs to survive stranded on Mars. I read this book, well, listened to it really, for the first time this year, and I loved it. The audiobook that I listened to was narrated by Wil Wheaton, someone who I think should be known to all sci-fi fans. Will captured Andy Weir's tone perfectly in his narration, and I think improved my experience of the book greater than I think I would have if I had read it myself. The only downside I found in this book is how technical Andy Weir gets in some parts. Personally, I love the technical. Even though the technobabble could be a little long-winded, I don't think there was a wasted word. Everything helped to illustrate the levels of danger Watney was in each day surviving on Mars, and the smarts needed to keep death at bay. You might almost think that this novel could have a second use as a real how-to when it comes to survival on a deserted planet. The reason why I say the technobabble could be a downside to the novel is that many other readers may just prefer to skip over the tech talk or prefer a simplified explanation. Matt Damon absolutely killed it playing Mark Watney, perfectly bringing out the humor found in the pages, almost like Andy Weir wrote Watney with Matt Damon in mind. Each chapter left me wanting more. I rate this book 6 out of 5, and I can't wait to read Andy Weir's other works. Let me tell you a little bit about my reading and watching habits. In the past, when I watched movies or TV shows that are based on books, I'd usually find that out after the fact. Now that I've gotten into reading more and on a pretty consistent basis, I'm noticing which movies and shows I've seen are book adaptations, and that has prompted me to read those books and is the inspiration behind this channel. I know most people would call it blasphemy to watch before reading. I, for one, find it easier to picture the setting within the book when I've seen the movie. It gives me something to work with visually, and I'm able to separate what I've seen from what I'm reading so that I can enjoy both pieces for what they are together and, more importantly, what they are apart from each other. Now on to the comparison. There weren't many things that differed from the book to the screen, primarily omissions of events. First, Mark Watney using the drill to convert the second vehicle into a trailer for his supplies. I definitely think this part of the book was deliberately left out from the movie for time. I'd also bet that the secondary reason was to prevent going down a rabbit hole of continuing down that path of peril. This omission led to what I believe is the first real difference between book and screen, which was when Mark nearly signed his own death sentence for about the 40th time and shorted out the Pathfinder and killed his ability to communicate with Earth. By leaving this event out of the movie, sure, it saves a little bit of time to dedicate to other scenes, but it definitely cuts out some of the events that follow that really highlighted how resourceful Mark was and how he survived each new threat. It would have been cool to see that on the screen, but I can also see how it might not have translated very well onto the screen as well. The same can be said for the time Mark spent in the crater while traveling to the Ares launch zone. Not only that, but since Mark still had Pathfinder in the movie at this point, and it's a big piece of equipment, included in the rover flipping over scene, I don't think Pathfinder would have survived that. I think the movie may have done itself a favor by leaving out this event in order to save itself from getting really messy in the storytelling. As it is, the movie flowed very well. Lastly, at least for the omitted events, we have the second dust storm. Now, I listened to the audiobook way after seeing the movie. When it came to this part of the book, I was like, whoa, I did not see this. And when I came to this part of the book, I'm like, whoa, how is Watney going to survive this? I would have loved to see this in the movie, but again, it's one of those things that may not have translated very well in order to explain how the solution worked out. Taking the time to show Watney's placement of the 2 solar panels and comparing them to a third to see which direction had less dense dust cover seemed a bit unnecessary. And to round everything off, the movie ends on a good note with Watney teaching the next generation of astronaut candidates. When I was listening to the audiobook, I was waiting for that. I did not expect Watney to be that bitter. But considering 24/7 press outside his house, constant medical tests, medical procedures to fix bones and whatnot, and snapping at the waiter about never seeing another potato ever again, I found it very understandable. I mean, when I was in middle school, I, by choice, had Domino's pizza nearly every day because the other options weren't that great most of the time. By the time I got into high school, I couldn't stand their pizza anymore. But that was before they changed their dough formula. Now I can tolerate it. That ends my video for today. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the book and movie, and let's hear what differences you found. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. Also, I am on Instagram and Discord, so go join me over there and we can continue the bookish conversation. The links to my social media are down below in the description. Thank you very much for watching.